This is Toyah. Toyah has quite a few personal assistants who help her to live her life. They help her with everyday things like getting up, dressing and eating. They also help Toyah to work. Toyah works as a trainer. She goes round the country delivering training to people about disability. She is very busy and the work takes her and her PAs all over the country.
Hi, my name's Toyah Wordsworth. I'm a disability equality trainer. And what I do is I go out to places in the community such as schools, colleges, organisations, workplaces generally. And I train people on disability equality and the barriers that disabled people face and how as non-disabled people they can help to remove those barriers that disabled people face.
Alex is one of Toyah's PAs. What made you decide to become a PA?
To be honest, I'd never thought of it before. It wasn't some burning ambition. My friend works in a GP surgery and she saw the advert and she said, oh, you know, I know the person who it's for, you need to apply for it. So I just applied and I didn't really know quite what the role would be because it's different for each employer. But it was the best move I've ever made.
Did you go for an interview?
Toyah interviewed me away from her home to ensure her safety. And she had one of her personal assistants there with her who was taking notes. And she had about 10 questions, I think. Nothing too taxing. And she really tried to put you at ease whilst you were being interviewed to try and get to see the real person, really, I suppose. Because a lot of you work a lot of hours with the same person, so you've got to get on. So in that interview process, she needs to find out what sort of personality you are, really, as much as you can in an interview process.
What do you most enjoy about your job?
I think for me, the most enjoyable, it's difficult to narrow it down to one thing, to be honest, but I like being able to have a relationship with one person rather than looking after 10, 15 people in a day. I just make sure that she's okay. I don't go home stressed out at the end of each shift, thinking, have I done this, have I done that? I can just go home and know that Toyah's had a good day. And that gives me a lot of satisfaction.
How do you make sure Toyah has choice and control of her life?
I think the most important thing is to ensure that you, as a PA for anybody, don't just do whatever you're going to do. It's not a task. You are in a privileged position to be in somebody's life, and it's their life, not your life. So it's how they want things doing, what they want to do. You know, and it's just simple things that you might take for granted. You might just make a drink because you're making a drink, but you need to ask them if they want a drink. Nobody wants a drink just shoving in front of them. And it's for a lot of people, it's just very, very simple things that ensure they've got that control. I mean, something working for somebody who is a wheelchair user, people tend to talk to the person behind the chair rather than the person in the chair. and that really annoys both of us. So I'll turn away from people now if they're speaking to me when it's actually Toyah who they're having the conversation with. Rather than having a confrontation with them, it gets the message across. And that's about making sure that Toyah's comfortable and Toyah's respected as a person in her own right. And I think as long as you understand that, you know, that person ideally wouldn't want you there. Nobody ideally wants a second person in their life 24/7. But you know, if you can make that as easy as you possibly can for them and ensure that their life is about them, you can't go wrong, really.
What are the most important skills to have as a PA?
Flexibility, obviously. Honesty. It's really hard because it's like you're talking about yourself. Humour. I think you definitely need to have humour for a job like this. You don't particularly need a high level of education for the job. You know, anybody is able to do the job if you're the right kind of person. And I think the right kind of person can be very different for different people, if that makes sense. You know, the sort of qualities Toyah might be looking for, although everybody would want the honesty and the sense of humour. If the sense of humour is so completely different to yours and you're never going to understand each other, you're not going to have fun together. So the personality traits that somebody would look for might be very different. So just because you applied for one job and didn't get it doesn't necessarily mean you wouldn't for somebody else.
What does the role of being a personal assistant involve?
Again, it's something that's different for different people. Some people need self-care needs to be met, other people don't. You know, some people want to go to a football match, other people don't. And basically, on a very basic level, what the job is assisting somebody or facilitating somebody to live their life the way that they want to do it, which for whatever reason they need some support to do.
What advice would you give to anyone watching who is thinking about becoming a PA?
I think you have to think about the type of person you can work with, the conditions that you feel that you can work with or not work with. And at interview, I think, you know, it is a two-way process. You need to ask the questions, what will I be doing? And try and ask some really probing questions so you can try and find out what sort of person they are as well.